What's up, you guys? It is Levi here. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a special tutorial on my Samsung Galaxy Note 8 Android device, teaching you all how to properly lock down your Android devices. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you all how to get to the lock screen settings in the first place on your Android device. Then I'm going to move on to, once you're in that lock screen settings menu, teaching you all the different ways that you can lock your device in the first place. So things such as using a password, using a PIN, the biometrics options, so using your face, using your fingers, using your retina, things like that. I'm going to go through each one of those options in the lock screen settings menu, showing you how to set those up. And then at the very end of this video, I'm going to go through all the other special options that you need to know to lock down your Android device, and then also how I recommend setting those special options. So things like setting up how long it takes until your display turns off, how long until you want your screen to lock after your display turns off, things like that, settings like that. So I hope everyone watching this video can understand either how to set up a lock screen in the first place if you haven't set one up before, or if you've already set up a lock screen, how to properly lock down your phone with the extra lock screen settings, and see the different lock screen options there are so you can determine, hey, maybe this lock screen option is a better option than the lock screen option I'm using right now. And ultimately, once you all learn how to do that, I hope this video helps you out so you can properly lock down your device to keep the hackers, or what we like to call the pirates on this channel, from swiping your phone and stealing information off of your phone or doing things with your phone that you wouldn't want the pirate to do, saving you a ton of mental time, not having to worry if your device gets stolen or lost, because you have a peace of mind knowing that your phone was properly locked down. Alright, so let's get into the tutorial. Alright, welcome to the tutorial. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to actually get to the lock screen settings. And you're going to do that by swiping down from the top of your phone, and in the upper right hand corner, hitting that cog button. Alright, once you hit that cog button, you're in the settings menu for your Android phone, and you can scroll down to the lock screen option. Alright, so that's how you get to the lock screen settings on an Android device. The next thing I'm going to do is describe the different screen lock types that there are and how to use those screen lock types. So you can get to those screen lock types by clicking the screen lock type option at the top here. Alright, so the first screen lock type that's available is the swipe option. And it does exactly what you think it would do. Swiping. So when your phone screen turns off and you go to turn it back on, it's going to make you swipe to be able to get into your phone. And I wouldn't really call this a security feature because someone that gets a hold of your phone is still going to be able to get into it without much effort, because all they have to do is swipe up on your phone to get in. So it's more to keep you from accidentally butt dialing someone when your phone screen happens to turn on accidentally. Alright, the next lock screen option is the pattern option. And basically, it lets you set a pattern to unlock your phone. So you can draw on these little dial things here and set a pattern. I highly recommend that you try to make it fairly complicated. I would probably use at least like 6 or 7 of these to make it super complicated. So, if you did something like this, that would be a good idea. I probably wouldn't do like something as simple as that, or like a square or something really predictable. I would do something that has some zigzags in it that you can remember. And I'm not going to fully set this up. And basically, you can draw out your pattern here twice that you want to use, and then that will set up your lock screen pattern to unlock your phone with. Alright, the next lock screen type is PIN. And basically, all it is a sequence of numbers that you'll type in to unlock your phone. The PIN has to be at least 4 digits, but I highly recommend making it at least 8, and the longer you can make it, the better and more secure it'll be. Make sure when you're if you decide to use this option, that you're using something that's not going to be predictable about yourself. So don't use something like your birthday, your anniversary, something like that. Use something that you can remember, but would be very difficult for somebody else to guess. Also, don't use things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and easy to guess patterns 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So basically, you type your PIN inside of here twice, and then that would set up the lock screen option for your PIN. The next option that we have is the password, and this is the highest security because not only does it include numbers, but you have letters and special characters. And I would highly recommend setting this to at least 12 characters long or longer if possible. For those of you that have watched my videos on setting a strong password, it's the length of the password that is important, not the complexity of the password. You want to be able to set passwords that you are able to remember, but passwords that aren't easy for someone else to guess. And the best way to do that is to use sentences to do that. If you want to learn more about setting strong passwords for this, check out my video down below in the description that talks about setting strong passwords. But yeah, basically you'll type your password in here twice, and that will set your lock screen type up to password. Alright, so those are all the basic options on Android that you have. Oh, I forgot the last one. None. I don't think we need to go over that. That's if you don't have a lock screen, which isn't any security at all. But those are the basic options that you have on an Android for setting your lock screen. There's also the biometric options, which you may or may not have all of these on your Android phone. It really depends on the model of the phone. And those options allow you to use your face, to use your eye, or to use your fingerprints. And in order to set any of those options down there, you have to have one of the basic lock screen types set up. And so it's going to require you to have a pattern, a PIN, or a password when you set those up. And when you go through the process of setting those up, it will actually prompt you, if you don't have one of those set up, to set one of those. And the reasoning behind that is because sometimes the biometric stuff doesn't work. Like the face, if you try to use it while you're in the dark, it's not going to work. So you have to have another method to be able to get in your phone. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get in, or you're going to have to go find a bright place, which might not be possible if you're out in the middle of nowhere at night. My big recommendation for setting up a lock screen on your phone is to set a password and set it long and strong, following my setting strong passwords video, and then set up one of the biometric options. That is the most secure option for being the most secure and easy option of being able to lock down your phone, because you can have that strong password, but then you have an easy method of using your fingerprint, your iris, or your face to get into your phone. And sometimes you'll be prompted for the password to get into things, but you're not going to be doing it constantly, so it's a lot easier to set it strong. If you didn't have the biometrics set up, you would almost have to do an easy password, a PIN, or a pattern, because you get tired of typing those in all the time. Alright, so I'm going to dig deeper into the biometrics options. So we have the face option, and to basically set this up, you hit continue. It makes you set the pattern, PIN, or password like I talked about. I'm just going to set a super generic one. Do not use what I'm using. 1, 2, 3, 4 is terrible, but I don't want to forget it while I'm doing this video. It's going to ask whether you're wearing glasses right now. I got LASIK, so no, thank God. And then it's going to start registering your face, your wonderful face here like mine. Which it looks like I have something on my face, but you can ignore that. Alright, so then it scans your face, and then it gives you a bunch of different options here. If you want to stay on the lock screen, so basically when you scan your face, it's going to, if you have this option on, it's going to stay on the lock screen until you swipe your finger up. Faster recognition, so it improves the speed but reduces the security. Increasing the possibility of a video or image being incorrectly recognized as your face. yeah, you would probably want this option turned off. It's going to make it more likely that somebody could take a scanned picture of you and unlock your device. Lift to wake is a pretty cool option. You can pick up your phone and the face recognition will be as ready to pick up your face as soon as you pick up your phone, which is pretty nice because you can literally pick up your phone off the table, point it at your face, and boom, you're in. Require open eyes. I recommend leaving that on because it's going to leave extra security, because if your eyes are closed, it's easier to fake, right? Brightening the screen is something I recommend turning on, so that way if you're in a dark environment, it can try to pick up your face easily. So those are the different options that you have for the facial recognition features, and then you would just click OK, and it would turn it on. There's a notifications option. We'll come back to that later. All right, so now I have the face option set up, and then to get back into the settings again, I have to type my PIN. The next option for biometrics is the iris, but you actually can't have the iris and face options on at the same time, so you're going to have to pick one. But I'll show you the iris option, and I have to turn off my face unlock. And this is just going to scan your eyes. So we can click continue. I'm going to register one iris. And I've actually found this to not work very well on my phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 8 that I'm doing this on. It doesn't work very well. I have a Samsung Galaxy Note 20 or 10, I guess, and I've never tried it on that, but it just doesn't really seem to work that well. You might have better luck on the newer phones, but you can see it says your irises weren't recognized, and it seems like I have to do this a billion times, so this might not be the best option for you. But basically, you sit there and look at your phone, and it's going to tell you that your eyes are registered, and then boom, you're ready to go. All right, so then the last option is fingerprints, and you can actually use that with the face or the iris, but you can't have both the face and the iris on at the same time. So you can click on the fingerprints, and basically what you do is wherever your fingerprint scanner is on your phone. So on this phone, it's on the back by the camera. On the newer phones like the Note 10 that I have, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, it's actually in the middle of the screen, which I like better. But on this phone I'm recording on, it's on the back. So you just press your finger up and down on that fingerprint scanner, and it just makes you keep moving it around. And I move it around at different angles. So that way, when you go to unlock your phone, it can pick up your fingerprint from different angles. And apparently I can't do this right. You just keep moving it up and down, lifting it up and off. And that's how you add the fingerprint. You can click add and add more. I'm just going to do this one for right now. So that's how you set up all the available screen lock type options on your phone. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is show you some other options I think you should take note of and how you should set those, and options that will allow you to lock down your device even further in my recommendations on those. All right, so the first option in the lock screen settings here is the smart lock option. So there's three different things that you can do in the smart lock section. It has an on body detection where it will keep your device unlocked while it's on you. It has a trusted places, so basically if your phone's in a certain location, it's going to keep your phone unlocked while it's in that location that you set. And then there's a trusted devices, so you can add a device when it's nearby to your phone will stay unlocked. So like for instance, I have a smartwatch, so I can set it up so that when my smartwatch is near my phone and it can pick up my smartwatch, my phone stays unlocked and I don't have to type in the lock screen password or any of the biometrics that I have set up if I have any of these options set up. My recommendation for these options is to not turn any of them on because you compromise your security by turning them on. I would say, especially for the trusted places and trusted devices, what if you have your phone in a place that you think is trusted, but someone else comes and swipes it in that trusted place? Your lock screen's not going to be on. They can just turn it on right there, right? The same thing with the trusted device. If your watch is in the area, let's say you have your watch laying down on the table or something, or you're in the, Bluetooth range is pretty long. You're at the airport, you leave your phone somewhere, but you're sitting down. Someone can unlock your device and it might still see your watch. or someone could grab your device, and you still might be within range of your watch, but you set it down somewhere, and then that person could get into your device. With their places and devices, somebody could also spoof a place or a device and potentially get into your phone. The on-body detection, it could be okay, but there might be ways to trick your phone into thinking that it's still on you when it's not, if a bad person happened to pick it up. I just recommend turning all these off because they compromise your security. Alright, the next thing to note is the secure lock settings, right below the smart lock. Alright, the first setting in here is lock automatically. So the default, it looks like, is to lock your phone 5 seconds after the phone screen turns off automatically, except when kept unlocked by the smart lock. So obviously, if you have the smart lock on, this lock automatically feature is not going to work. So basically, I would set this as low as you can, and actually, I would set this to immediately. So that way, as soon as your screen turns off, it's going to lock your phone instantly. You don't want to have this up very high because the longer you make it for your phone to lock, the more likely someone can swipe your phone and get into it. The more time that they have to be able to do that. So I would set this to immediately personally. I'll show you a setting here pretty soon where you can set the length of how long until your screen turns off. And that's the setting that you can adjust to fit your needs on how long you actually need the screen off. But I'd set this to immediately. Lock instantly with the power key. So the power button on your phone, when you press the button, it'll automatically lock your phone. If you have the settings set, I recommend leaving this on. There's an auto factory reset button or option. And basically, after 15 incorrect login attempts on your phone, it's going to reset it to factory default settings. Now, my main recommendation is to leave this on. If someone is guessing an incorrect password 15 times, more than likely it's going to be somebody that you don't want in your phone. Now, the exception to this that I could see is if you have kids and they're messing around with your phone all the time, you might not want to turn this option on. The next option is the lock network and security. Basically, this makes it so that if your phone is locked, you can't turn the Wi-Fi off or you can't turn the mobile data off. And this protects you because if someone steals your phone, it makes it easier. It makes it easier for you to track down your phone because it's going to be pinging back to a Wi-Fi network or it's going to be pinging back to the cell phone tower, and then that gives you the opportunity to trace where your phone's at, contact the authorities to get that phone, or wipe your phone automatically. Or you could decide to use a Google option that allows you to remotely wipe your phone so that somebody can't get access to the data on your phone by guessing your lock screen password or trying to mimic your biometrics. And then the last option is a show lockdown option. So it displays a power button option that turns off the smart lock, biometrics lock, unlock, and notifications on the lock screen. That one's really up to you whether you want to do that. Alright, one of the other notable things inside of the lock screen setting is the contact information. I always like to set my name inside of here, so when you lock your screen, if someone unlocks it and they are a decent person and they want to return your phone back to you, they know whose phone it actually is. So I highly recommend setting the contact information. The only bad thing about that is if a bad person picks up your phone, it might give them more information to be able to unlock your phone if they happen to know your name, look it up on social media, and you set your lock screen password to your birthday, and that happens to be on your social media. But I think the majority of the time, this is going to help you. The majority of the time, people are nice out there and will want to return the phone back to the right owner. So I would set that. Alright, so that's everything that you need to know about the lock screen settings. Now I'm going to talk about some best practices on other settings and settings that you should know about. Alright, so we'll go back to the main menu here and we'll scroll up to display. And we'll scroll down to screen timeout. So remember before when I talked about the setting, how soon do you want your phone to lock when your screen times out? and we set it to immediately. Well, here's the option to set your screen timeout. And like I said on the other one, you want this to be as soon as possible, basically as long as you can stand it. So I would recommend like a minute, probably 15 seconds, 30 seconds can be annoying, like if you're looking at a picture or something like that. But my standard recommendation would be a minute. If you're not doing something on your phone in a minute, you're probably not using it. I would say try to keep it under 2 minutes. 5 minutes is really starting to get there. That's a lot of time if you leave your phone somewhere for somebody to come swipe it and get into it. So I would probably stay away from the 5 and 10 minutes. You could do 2, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would say a minute or below if possible on this setting. And the nice thing, if you have the biometric option set up, really it's not too bad to just, take a quick scan of your face or use your fingerprints again, and boom, you're in right away. Alright, so I set the screen timeout to after 1 minute of activity. So after 1 minute of the screen being not used, it's going to go to the screen turning off, and then we set that other option as the lock screen will start immediately. So then when I turn the screen back on, I'm going to be on a lock screen. Alright, the last thing that I want to show you all is the biometrics and security option in the settings. And this is where you can go to see what you've all registered for your biometrics. So if you wanted to add another fingerprint, you could do that inside of here. If you happen to want to re-register your face or irises, you could do that in here. You could set a preferred biometric inside of here on which one it's going to try to use first in the biometric preferences. I highly recommend turning this Find My Device on. Like we talked about earlier, with the Wi-Fi and the mobile access turned on, if you have this Find My Device turned on, it will allow you to find your device if it happens to be stolen or if it's got lost, and it can let you wipe your device. So I highly recommend turning this option on. There's a secure startup option. I highly recommend turning this option on. Basically, it makes you enter a PIN before your phone starts up, so it helps you protect your data if your phone is lost or stolen. And this is before you even get to the lock screen, so I highly recommend turning that on, hitting the require PIN when the phone turns on and entering that in. The last setting that I recommend is if you have an SD card in your phone, that you do this encrypt SD card option. So if someone steals your phone and you have information on that SD card and they pull it out, with this option enabled, they're not going to be able to access that data. Whereas normally, if you don't have this turned on, they're going to be able to access everything that you have on the SD card. Alright, so that's the tutorial. I hope you all got a lot of information out of that. Remember, if you have any questions at all on the tutorial, leave them down below in the comments. I'd love to help you all out with any questions that you have. And if you found this tutorial useful, make sure that you're smashing the like button and hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already, as both of those actions help promote this content on YouTube, so more people like you can see this content and more people can help protect themselves from the cybersecurity threats out in the world. Anyways, I thank you guys so much for watching. See you all next time.